Hey everyone, welcome. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here for this explainer. We're actually going to skip the standard agenda and the usual housekeeping today because, honestly, we are jumping straight into something incredibly powerful. We're looking at a concept that completely flips the script on how most people view personal finance. We aren't talking about massive salary bumps here or, inheriting a fortune. We're talking about building serious, life-changing wealth through something entirely within your control, micro-decisions. I'm going to show you how the tiniest, seemingly insignificant choices you make every single day are secretly the ultimate architects of your financial future.
So I want you to really think about this for a second. What is the true cost of one single dollar? When we think about what keeps us from financial freedom, we usually look at the massive numbers, right? We blame the heavy mortgage, the student loan debt, maybe the soaring cost of a new car. But the reality is actually far more subtle. The biggest threat to your financial freedom isn't usually that giant, visible expense. It's the invisible, daily, completely thoughtless expenses that slowly drain your resources without you even noticing. It's the money that just quietly slips through the cracks.
Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1. The power of $1 and how small choices have a massive impact. So here is the anchor for our entire explainer today. The $1 rule. Basically, it's the principle of treating every single dollar as a foundational building block for long-term wealth, rather than just disposable currency. Think about how we usually view a dollar. It's loose change, it's a rounding error, it's something sitting at the bottom of your car's cup holder. But the $1 rule demands a complete reevaluation. It requires you to look at that dollar and see it not as something to just be thrown away on a whim, but as a brick. And with enough of those bricks, you can build an absolute fortress of financial security.
Moving right along to Section 2, the psychology of spending, or why we tend to ignore the leaks.
Let's talk about the danger of invisible expenses. Our brains are incredibly susceptible to trickery, especially when it comes to modern spending. Decades ago, when you wanted to buy something, you had to physically hand over paper money. You felt that physical loss, right? The wallet actually got lighter. Today, we just double tap a screen, we wave a watch over a terminal, we click Buy Now with saved shipping info. It is entirely frictionless. And because there's no physical pain of parting with the money, our brains trick us into believing that these minor, everyday purchases aren't real money leaving our accounts. $3 here, $5 there, it kind of feels like a video game. But the depletion of your wealth, that is very, very real. Which brings us to Section 3, thinking like the wealthy and shifting your mindset. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the stark contrast in how we view money. Look at the consumer mindset. It views money purely as a tool for immediate gratification. Money exists to be spent right now. If there's cash in the checking account, well, that's a green light to upgrade the lifestyle. But then there's the wealthy mindset, which views every single dollar as a seed. A wealthy mindset understands that a dollar spent today is gone forever. But a dollar planted today, invested today, will grow roots, sprout, and produce more dollars, which in turn produce even more dollars. It's an agricultural view of money, rather than just a consumptive one.
All right, Section 4, the magic of compounding. Let's look at the mathematical proof.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what we're talking about. Consider a 30-year outcome based on just $5 a day. If you spend that $5 a day, maybe it's a premium coffee, maybe it's a quick snack at the gas station. After 30 years, your return is exactly zero. You have absolutely nothing to show for it. But if you take that exact same $5 a day and have it invested in an average broad market index fund tracking the S&P 500, letting it compound at historical averages, the difference is just staggering.
You're looking at over $150,000. Seriously, that is not a typo. That is the magic of compound interest. A mere $5 a day, consistently planted like seeds, literally explodes over 3 decades into life-altering wealth. We're talking a down payment on a house, a college fund, years of early retirement. And it all stems from a microscopic sum of money that most people wouldn't even hesitate to hand over for a frappe. When you really understand this math, every small purchase suddenly has a massive opportunity cost.
Let's ground this a bit in Section 5, the rule in real life. Let's walk through a day in the typical American life.
Okay, so picture this. It's a completely normal Tuesday. At 8 a.m., you're a bit tired, so you hit the drive-thru for a $6 premium coffee. Fast forward to 12:30 p.m., you're at lunch with coworkers. You could get the regular meal, but you opt for the $4 lunch upgrade. Extra side, bigger drink. Then 8 p.m. rolls around, you're exhausted on the couch playing a game or scrolling, and you make a quick $5 in-app purchase to skip a level or just remove ads. Individually, not a single one of these decisions felt like a big deal at all. You didn't consult a budget. But together, that is $15 evaporating in a single day. Over a month, that's $450. And if invested over decades, well, you've just seen the math. It's hundreds of thousands of dollars of future wealth, just traded for fleeting, forgettable conveniences.
So how do we actually stop the bleeding here? Here are the actionable, practical ways you can apply the $1 rule starting right now. First, track your micro-spending daily. Awareness is the cure, guys. Write down every single dollar that leaves your hands. Second, implement a pause before small upgrades. When the cashier asks if you want to make it a large for $1 more, pause. Just say no. And third, redirect those saved dollars immediately to investments. If you skip the $6 coffee, don't just leave that $6 in your checking account to be magically absorbed by something else. Literally transfer it to an investment or savings account right then and there. Give that dollar a job.
So, the crucial point is coming up here in Section 6, your financial future, going from micro to macro.
It really boils down to this structured three-step path. Step 1, you absolutely must unlearn those bad consumer habits. Break that frictionless spending cycle. Step 2, adopt a microscopic focus on your daily choices. Respect the single dollar bill. Treat it with the dignity a building block deserves. And step 3, let time compound your wealth. Once you've planted the seeds, just step back and let the math do the heavy lifting over the years. You really don't need to be some investment guru. You just need to be consistent and patient.
I really want you to burn this quote into your memory. Financial freedom isn't built on massive paychecks, it's built on everyday $1 decisions. Stop waiting for a windfall, Stop assuming that wealth is only for people who make $500,000 a year. The control is literally in your hands, in your wallet, and in the small choices you make from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep. Your daily habits completely dictate your tomorrow.
Which leaves us with this final, vital question. Where will you plant your next dollar? Next time you are standing at a checkout counter or hovering your thumb over a buy button, I want you to remember this explainer. I want you to see that dollar as a seed. Are you going to throw it away on a fleeting convenience, or will you plant it so it can grow your financial freedom? The choice is entirely yours. Thanks so much for joining me today, and get out there and start planting those seeds.